Okay, so let's be real. We're all sitting on these massive piles of documents, right? All our company's knowledge. And then we hear all this amazing stuff about AI. So you think, great, let's put them together. But when you try, it just breaks. It's so frustrating. You've got the knowledge, you've got the AI, but there's this giant gap right in the middle.
So what's going on here? Why can't you just, dump 100 PDFs into an AI and get these perfect, brilliant answers? Well, the truth is, and this is the number one reason these projects totally fail, it's because we're just throwing in our raw, messy files. The AI gets confused, it starts making stuff up, we call those hallucinations, and you're left with results you just can't trust at all.
And this slide, it just nails the problem. On the left, that's what our documents look like today, right? A total mess. Different formats, no structure, no context. But on the right, that is what AI actually needs to do its job. It needs clean, organized knowledge with all the context. And that's exactly where Jackie Chunk comes in. It's the bridge that connects these two completely different worlds.
All right, so to really get what Jackie Chunk is, I think it's actually way easier to start with what it's not. There are so many tools out there, and it's super easy to get them mixed up. So let's just clear up a few common misconceptions right off the bat. Okay, this is probably the most important thing to get straight. Jackie Chunk is a document processing engine. It is absolutely not another AI chatbot like ChatGPT. It's not there to generate answers, and it's not a filing cabinet like SharePoint. It doesn't just, store your files. Its one and only job is to be that super smart preparation engine that sits right between your documents and your AI. You know what? To make this crystal clear, let's use a simple analogy. I promise this will make the whole thing just click into place instantly.
Okay, picture this. You hire a brilliant consultant. Let's say that consultant is your AI, to go through thousands of pages of documents. Now, if you just walk in and dump a disorganized pile of paper on their desk, even the smartest person in the world is going to miss things, right? But what if someone else came in first? That's Jackie Chunk. It takes that messy pile, reads everything, pulls out all the key info, connects the dots, and then hands a perfectly organized, easy-to-read brief to your AI consultant. And the result? The AI can now give you perfect sourced answers because all the prep work was done right from the start. So, okay, that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? When the stakes are incredibly high. Let's dive into how this technology is solving some absolute nightmares in the most document-heavy industries you can imagine. Let's start with healthcare. I mean, think about it. A single patient's medical history can be scattered across dozens of different systems. All the information is there, but it's buried deep. And in this field, when a piece of information gets missed, the consequences aren't just financial. They're measured in human lives. And just look at this transformation. It's night and day. With something like JC Lab, you take clinicians from spending hours digging for information to getting instant answers. You move them from that constant fear of missing critical data to working with records they can actually trust. And maybe most importantly, you shift their focus away from paperwork and back to where it belongs, on their patients. And look, the precision here is absolutely critical. We're talking about a tool that doesn't just pull random text. It actually understands medical documents, extracting diagnoses, medications, vital signs with 99.7% accuracy. In a world where every single detail matters, that level of reliability is a complete game changer. Okay, let's switch gears and jump into the legal world. Here, the problem is all about two things: insane volume and massive risk. We're talking thousands of contracts, endless case files, and armies of very, very expensive lawyers reading every single page. The cost of just doing this manual work is staggering, but the cost of missing one tiny, crucial detail, that can be even higher. And this is where something like JC Docket just flips the script entirely. Due diligence that used to take weeks of painstaking work, now it's done in hours. That complex contract review that required a whole team of people, now it can start with just a single question. And those risks, the ones that were once buried deep inside pages and pages of text, they're now automatically flagged so you can't miss them. All right, let's talk finance, an industry that, let's be honest, is practically built on documents. The volume is just immense, but the real nightmare, it's that razor-thin margin for error. We're talking about tiny mistakes in manual data entry that have a direct and often massive impact on the bottom line. So with a tool like GC Vault, the impact on those core business processes is just huge.
The month-end close, that beast of a process, shrinks from 2 weeks down to just a few days. Audit prep, it goes from being this major disruption for the whole team to simply getting sourced, reliable answers. And manual data entry, that massive source of errors, it becomes automated and, most importantly, verified.
And finally, let's take a look at construction. The documents here are on another level of complexity, right? We're talking blueprints, CAD files, super detailed technical specs. In this environment, a single missed detail doesn't just cause a little headache, it can literally halt a project in its tracks and lead to rework that costs millions of dollars. This is where JC Builder comes in and turns all that chaos into one connected knowledge base. Specification conflicts that used to be discovered when workers were already out on the job site, now they're flagged before a single brick is even laid. Change orders aren't lost in some endless paper trail anymore. They're linked directly to the original spec. The bottom line, project risk goes from being sky high to being actively managed and mitigated. Okay, so we've talked about all these different industries, right? But there is one question that comes up every single time, and it trumps all the others. What about the privacy of my data? This is absolutely fundamental, so let's dig into security. The core principle here is something called data sovereignty. And don't worry, in simple terms, it just means your data is yours, period. You have absolute control over it. It never, ever leaves your control, your servers, or your network. And listen, this isn't just some marketing promise. It's literally built into the architecture. Jackie Chunk runs entirely on your infrastructure. There are no external APIs, no cloud storage. None of your patient, client, or financial data ever leaves your control. So things like HIPAA compliance and client confidentiality, they aren't just settings you have to remember to turn on. They are the default, right out of the box. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. Let's talk about the ultimate advantage this gives you when you're finally ready to work with AI. So you might hear this nerdy tech term being thrown around, RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. All it really means is this. Instead of the AI just making stuff up from its general internet-trained memory, it is forced to look up the answers directly in your perfectly prepared, totally verified documents. And that really brings us to the final, and I think most crucial question you have to ask yourself. When you're dealing with information that really, truly matters, do you want your AI to guess, or do you want it to know? Because honestly, that's the difference between a fun little toy you can play with and a serious tool you can actually trust with your business. So just remember this. It's not a filing cabinet, and it's not an AI. It is the intelligent bridge that finally makes them work together, the way they were always supposed to, effectively, accurately, and securely. It's time to stop getting guesses and start getting real knowledge from your own documents. You can check it all out at jackiechunk.com.